Welcome to our episode of U.S. Briefing, where we're diving into the whirlwind of current events that's keeping everyone on their toes. From the corridors of power in Washington, D.C. to the suspenseful anticipation of lottery outcomes, we've got a smorgasbord of stories that reflect the unpredictable nature of our world today. First up, we're navigating the choppy waters of the Israeli-Gaza conflict, where President Joe Biden is walking a tightrope of diplomatic and domestic challenges. Amidst the backdrop of war, Biden's balancing act includes supporting Israel while facing criticism and attempting to mediate peace with limited leverage over Hamas. On a more personal note, a candid phone call between Biden and Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu reveals the intense negotiations behind the scenes, highlighting the complexities of international diplomacy and the quest for humanitarian solutions. Switching gears, imagine holding your breath for a $1.3 billion jackpot. That's exactly what Powerball enthusiasts had to do as an unprecedented delay left them hanging. Meanwhile, in the political arena, Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s unexpected rise as a potential spoiler in the upcoming presidential election has Democrats biting their nails. And for sports fans, the Yukon Huskies' march towards a historic back-to-back national championship in college basketball is nothing short of exhilarating. But that's not all. From the economic theories of Henry George to the high-stakes financial and diplomatic dance between the U.S. and China, and the record-breaking fundraising efforts in the lead-up to the U.S. general election, today's news is a testament to the dynamic and interconnected world we live in. So, stay tuned for the detailed scoop on these stories and more, as we peel back the layers of what's happening around us. Please continue watching for more in-depth coverage. In the midst of an ongoing conflict that has gripped the region for 6 months, President Joe Biden is navigating the turbulent waters of the Israeli-Gaza war, as reported by the Washington Post. The situation presents a policy quagmire for the Biden administration, which has continued its support for Israel amidst the conflict. This stance, however, has not been without its critics, with accusations of complicity in war crimes and moral compromise being directed at the U.S. Domestically, Biden faces pressure from both sides of the political aisle. Republicans are demanding unwavering support for Israel, while some Democrats are calling for a halt to the flow of arms to Jerusalem. The conflict also threatens to strain the U.S.'s relationships with regional Arab states, who fear the possibility of the conflict widening and drawing them into a larger confrontation. Adding to the complexity is the U.S.'s limited leverage over Hamas, the terrorist group that is holding around 100 hostages, including Americans. Biden's relationship with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has been described as complex, with Netanyahu using opposition to Biden's policies to bolster his political position. Despite these challenges, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken has been actively seeking a peaceful resolution, though efforts have so far been unsuccessful. The U.S. has continued to supply munitions to Israel, but frustration with Israel's actions is growing, and public criticism has intensified. A recent U.S. decision to abstain from a UN resolution calling for a ceasefire has only added to the tensions. Amid these challenges, Biden has reached out to the leaders of Egypt and Qatar, urging them to pressure Hamas to agree to a ceasefire, as efforts to negotiate peace continue in Cairo. CNN sheds light on a more personal aspect of the conflict management, detailing a pointed phone call between President Biden and Prime Minister Netanyahu. In this call, Biden made clear his demands for immediate humanitarian aid access into Gaza, specifically mentioning the opening of the Erez crossing and the port of Ashdod. Netanyahu's response, "Joe, we're gonna do it," was met with further insistence from Biden that these measures be announced that very evening. The Israeli Security Cabinet subsequently approved these measures, marking a significant, albeit small, step towards addressing the humanitarian crisis in the region. Meanwhile, ABC introduces a seemingly unrelated but intriguing topic about the disappearance of land from some economic models. This discussion harks back to the economist Henry George, who advocated for better taxation of land and natural resources. George's ideas, once influential, have been marginalized in mainstream economic thought, partly because his advocacy for land taxation was linked with free trade, making it difficult to gain traction among certain groups. Additionally, some economists deliberately shifted the focus away from land in economic reasoning, treating land as capital and thus eroding the classical distinction between the two. This shift led to the development of neoclassical economics and undermined George's critique of landed property. Despite this, the article suggests that revisiting George's ideas could offer valuable insights into reconciling economic efficiency, social justice, and liberty, raising questions about the construction and relevance of contemporary economic models. These narratives, spanning from the complexities of international diplomacy and conflict resolution to the nuanced debates within economic theory, highlight the multifaceted challenges facing leaders and thinkers today. Whether navigating the treacherous terrain of geopolitical conflicts or revisiting foundational economic principles, the need for thoughtful, informed decision-making has never been more critical. In a twist that had lottery enthusiasts on the edge of their seats, the Associated Press reported a delay in the much-anticipated Powerball lottery drawing scheduled for Saturday night. The reason? A meticulous process was underway to ensure that every ticket sold was accounted for, thereby guaranteeing each participant an equal shot at the staggering $1.3 billion jackpot. This delay, caused by one jurisdiction requiring additional time to complete the pre-draw procedures, left participants in suspense, wondering when the life-changing numbers would finally be announced. The length of the wait remained uncertain, adding to the drama of what was already a high-stakes event. Meanwhile, in the political arena, the Japan Times highlighted an unexpected twist in the U.S. presidential race. Robert F. Kennedy Jr., a figure who has long been on the fringes of mainstream politics, has emerged as a real threat to incumbent President Joe Biden's re-election bid. Kennedy, an environmental lawyer with a penchant for conspiracy theories, has managed to garner double-digit support in the polls. His candidacy is particularly alarming for Democrats, who recall with unease how third-party candidates in past elections siphoned votes from their nominee. Kennedy's unexpected surge has sparked concerns that he might inadvertently tip the scales in favor of Republican candidate Donald Trump, making the 2024 election a nail-biter for Democrats. On the sports front, the Associated Press brought exciting news from the college basketball world. The University of Connecticut, UConn, Huskies, led by the dynamic duo of Castle and Klingon, triumphed over Alabama with an impressive 86-72 victory in the NCAA tournament's Final Four. This win propels UConn into the national championship game, where they will face off against Purdue on Monday. The Huskies are not just playing for another title, they are aiming to etch their names in history by becoming the first team to clinch back-to-back national championships since Florida achieved the feat in 2006-2007. UConn's journey to the final is a testament to their resilience, skill, and the unwavering spirit of their players and coaching staff. These stories, ranging from the suspenseful delay of a Powerball drawing to the unexpected shakeup in the U.S. presidential race, and the thrilling advance of UConn to the NCAA title game, showcase the unpredictability and excitement inherent in various facets of American life. Whether it's the dream of hitting a billion-dollar jackpot, the drama of a political underdog making waves, or the adrenaline of a high-stakes basketball game, these narratives remind us of the endless possibilities and unexpected turns that keep us glued to the unfolding stories around us. In the bustling world of international politics and finance, U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen's recent visit to China has sparked attention, as covered by Nikkei Asia. During her 5-day journey aimed at smoothing over frictions between the two global powerhouses, Yellen met with Chinese Premier Li Qiang. Their discussions, described as tough conversations, touched upon the concerns over China's economic strategies, including the flood of cheap exports affecting global markets. Yellen called for an end to these unfair practices, emphasizing the need for a level playing field. Premier Li, on the other hand, spoke of a relationship that was stabilizing and highlighted the importance of respect, peaceful coexistence, and win-win cooperation. This pivotal meeting underscores the ongoing efforts to manage the complex dynamics between the U.S. and China, with Yellen set to share insights from her visit upon her return. Meanwhile, in the realm of U.S. politics, CNN reports a significant development from Palm Beach, Florida, where former President Donald Trump and the Republican National Committee, RNC, have made waves with a record-breaking fundraiser. The event amassed an impressive $50.5 million, dwarfing the $26 million raised by Joe Biden at a New York City event. This fundraising feat signals strong financial backing for Trump from some of the GOP's most influential donors as the race towards the general election intensifies. Despite this surge in support, Trump faces a challenging path ahead in the fundraising arena, with Biden and the Democratic Party having secured over $90 million in March alone. This financial battleground forms a crucial backdrop to the forthcoming electoral showdown, highlighting the high stakes and intense competition defining the current political landscape. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.